All right, a simple video today, how to be the man. We grow up with these roles we fill into. It's who our parents expect us to be, who our friends expect us to be. We're treated a certain way. Sometimes we're the most confident guy, we achieve a lot, so that guy is seen as the man. People trust what he says he's going to do because he's going to do it. They respect his words. It's these characteristics. So what is the man? The man for you, there's some broad characteristics that all of these guys would have, and then there's some personal characteristics that you define. The man is, in any scenario, has style. He cares how he looks. He knows how to look a certain way to project power. He's in shape, unless we're talking Tony Soprano. A rare example. Being in shape shows you've got respect for yourself, shows you got discipline. It's just the best foot you can put forward. And Tony Soprano's a fictional character, though guys like him do exist. You believe what he's going to say is maybe the most important thing. You really listen to what he's going to say, not necessarily because he's smarter, but typically because he has achieved something, done things, and when he says something, he's going to do it. If you want to be the guy in any scenario who gets respect, who people look toward, look up to, follow, be the leader, and even internally have that confidence that the man, or whatever you want to call him, the alpha male, all this stuff has, there are a few things that you've got to do, and we're going to get into them in this video. And you can do them. You can take how you've been seen up until this point and completely transform it and completely change it. And I'm going to talk about a practical way to do that. I think it's the 4th or 5th tip. So let's get into it. 5 ways to be the man to boost confidence and dominance. The first is to be quiet. Not only be quiet, you're not shutting up. You are getting rid of that need to show how smart you are, to show that you have something to put into the conversation, to show that you've read this book, to show that you've read that book. That's weakness. That is trying to prove to others and to yourself that you are smart, that you are capable, that you are intelligent, and that shows weakness because you're trying to prove to them. They don't exist, they don't matter. You are who you are, and you've got to be calm, confident, and secure in that. There's 2 things to being quiet. 1, you're not shouting your opinion, you're not trying to show how smart you are, but 2, you're listening and observing. You're taking everything in, and then if you do speak, you're going to have something more profound to say. If you've ever been in a social situation with a guy who doesn't say much, but then when he does speak, he changes your perspective a little bit on the topic, or he provides an insight that not everyone else has, or his words hold so much weight because he always says what he's going to do, or how he always does what he says he's going to do. So that guy has much more power, much more gravitas in different scenarios than the guy who's always trying to be the loudest. In American Gangster, he says it's the loudest one in the room who's often the weakest. That's not because being loud is weak, it's because of the nature of the loudness. He's trying to be the loudest because he can't be the quietest and still be strong. So you want to be quiet, be strong, be introspective, listen to what people have to say, provide good info when you do speak, but you want to listen. Listen first, get in the habit of listening to what people say until they're done saying it without jumping in and interjecting and trying to put your point across while they're still talking, while they still have stuff to say. A lot of the times, if you let people say all that they're going to say and ask 1 or 2 questions, they are going to undo their own argument. You can simply ask, why do you think that? What brought you to this line of thinking? And they are going to destroy their own argument because they don't really know why they think what they think. They just think it. And their quest for information stops when they hear something that they agree with. That's what most people do with their politics, is when they see a headline that they agree with, they stop. And that's enough. I agree with it. I'm going to tell everyone about this without reading and really dissecting what is in that piece of content. So first is be quiet and listen. Second is look the part. This doesn't mean go out and buy a bunch of expensive clothes. It doesn't mean lease a Ferrari when you can barely afford it. It doesn't mean anything like that. It simply means putting your best foot forward. So if you have $500, it's better to spend that $500 on a good outfit, good suit, whatever, like $1,000, a good suit, than buy a bunch of cheap things. As a man, you want simple style. Putting your best foot forward also means you look the part as far as conditioning. Being in shape Being strong shows that you at least have the capacity to be dangerous. That adds a little bit of respect in there. So you don't need to be this monster, this huge traps, roided out guy. That shows more insecurity than power, than respect. You just want to show that you have the capacity to be dangerous. You want to show that you have discipline. You want to show that you work hard, and people will get that in an instant from how you look. So you need to get in shape. You need to build muscle. You can't be a skinny little weakling. You can't be a big fat ass. You've got to put your best foot forward. And I'm not trying to be a dick saying that if you're skinny, you're not going to be the man. If you're fat, you're not going to be the man. That's just not the best version of you. And the man is always the best version of you. That means he's smarter, reads a lot, he's quieter, calmer, more logical. He's also in great shape. He's thoughtful, all these different things. He's successful. He's actually done things. So all these different things fit into you being the man. So the guy who's built and sold a $100 million company, $500 million company, is more likely to be the man than the guy who keeps saying he's going to do all these things and never really does anything, which also gives a caveat of time. Developing yourself, developing the person who deserves the success, the respect, all this stuff that you want, takes time. That's just the nature of it. Shit doesn't happen overnight, so don't expect it to happen overnight. So number 3, after look the part, is to be skilled. You actually have to have some skill. You have to be good at things. Don't just look the part, know how to fight, know how to protect yourself, know how to use a gun, know how to use weapons, know how to use your fists. I started boxing when I was maybe 16, 17, and my confidence grew exponentially. Not because I could go out and kick people's asses, but because I knew I could and I didn't have to. Just the knowledge that you know how to use your hands, it will add a quiet confidence to who you are rather than this boisterous confidence that everyone's trying to project. Everyone's trying to wear the loudest stuff, drive the loudest car, be the loudest one in the room. That's not true power. That's not true confidence. That's not necessarily how the man would act. Doesn't mean you can't have a Ferrari, a Lambo, all this stuff. That's all wicked. But you're doing that as a tidbit of what you own. You're spending a little crumbs on what you have on the Ferrari, on this, on that, and everything else because you like it. You've got the money to do it. You're not trying to overextend yourself, trying to fit this role that you haven't yet earned. So have some skill. Learn how to sell, learn how to market, learn how to invest, learn how to think logically, learn how to fight, do all these things. If you actually want to be the man, if you want to be the best guy you can be, you've got to have some actual skills to back it up. So 4 is a practical thing to do. This is a more difficult thing to do, but it's taking into consideration the aspect of time. My advice, and I've followed this advice, is to go away for a while, really dig down deep and work on yourself, get in the best shape of your life, build a business or work your way up through your own company, develop skills that you need to thrive in this world. Get away from the social aspect for a little while. So let's say you get out of the fold, out of the mix with your friends, all this stuff. You still see them every now and then, have beers every now and then, whatever. Smoke a stogie every now and then, but you don't need the social aspect because you're so focused on working on yourself. When you come back, you'll find yourself to be a little quieter. You'll have read a lot, so you're gonna be a little more logical in how you talk. And let's say you developed a fighting skill, so you're gonna just be more confident. Let's say you made a bit more money during that time and you bought some nice stuff. You're gonna be a little more proud in who you put out into the world. And you've actually done something, which every man needs to do. Every man needs to achieve things. This notion that we are great, that just the way you are, I think is complete nonsense. We have a potential and it's our duty to reach that potential. And that is a large part of our purpose in our lives, and it shows itself in different ways. We actually need to achieve things. We actually need to do things. We're men. Manhood is earned. Women are born with their purpose. On a deep level, their purpose is to have kids. The purpose is to create life, and that's a beautiful thing. Men have to earn manhood. We have to earn a living. We have to earn respect. We have to earn all these things that we need to be considered men. Just the nature of manhood is you need to achieve things. If you haven't achieved something yet that you think is of great value, 1, that's always going to be the case because you're always going to think you need to achieve more. But 2, just understand that it takes time to do all these things. It takes time to develop all these skills. So back to the practical aspect, think about going away for a bit. Not going away traveling, though that's worked. I've done that. Traveled for 6 months one year to Italy and South America and just kept working. Came back with a little more perspective, and that helped, you know, just self-development and stuff. But I more mean get lost in the training, in the discipline, in the reading, in the learning, in the skill development, and then come back into the fold in the social setting. You're not going to miss anything. You're going to miss anything by not going to a party, not going to clubs. That stuff's all, once you've been to one club, one night, had a fun night, it's pretty much the same for the rest of the nights. And it's fun every now and then, but get dialed in with your work and your self-improvement, and then go back into the fold. Now, finally, this is the most important aspect for yourself psychologically to become a man and become the man and develop confidence. This will have a greater effect on the words you speak to others and the words you speak to yourself, is you simply do what you say you're gonna do all the time, especially to yourself. So if you say you're gonna go to the gym, you go to the gym. If you say you're gonna do a video like this, do the video. I don't like doing videos, but I realize that they provide value. They're a part of the business, part of what I've set up here. I'm not a fan of speaking into the camera and this stuff, but if I say I'm gonna do it, I do it, because you can't get in the habit of saying you're gonna do things and not do things, because confidence is the reputation you have with yourself. If you don't believe you when you say you're gonna do something, how is anyone else gonna believe you when you say you're gonna do something, or believe you when you say this, that, or anything else? So you need to get in the habit of constantly doing what you say you're gonna do. That single thing will be so powerful over time in you developing confidence. It'll out-trump anything. It'll outdo achievements. It'll outdo anything you buy that you think will boost your confidence. Simply doing what you say you're gonna do and always doing it is a powerful, powerful aspect of being the man. The man who actually does what he says he's gonna do is technically unstoppable. So start with small habits and then work on to bigger things. A little caveat to add to that is, if you think about billionaires, they acted like billionaires before they became billionaires. That is, they did the things that $1 billion would require them to do before they got it. You can't wait for the achievement to start acting in a way that will get you the achievement. You can't wait for people to recognize your value, your worth, without doing the things first that will get them to recognize your value, your worth. You've got to do what you say you're gonna do. You've got to build a better body. You've got to look your best. You've got to, do all the things we talked about in this video. You've got to do the things before you get the reward. Always. The reward doesn't come and then the skills come after. You've got to develop the skills first. So hopefully this helped. Hopefully this video gave some insight into not only how you can be the man, but how you can, practical steps for how you can be the best you can possibly be. And I think that's our duty as men, is to get as close to our potential as we can possibly get while we're here on this earth. And when you realize that, you let go of some of the frivolous aspects of life, some of the things we don't really need, and you focus only on what's important, and that is achievement, that's improvement, that's being better day after day after day. And then you end up with a great life, one where you're proud of how you lived, not filled with regret when you die. So if you like this video, please subscribe to the video and give us a thumbs up. Take care.